So a couple days after this comes out, it will be Mother's Day. So happy Mother's Day to every mother out there. So I went to my coworker. I was like, hey, want to record something with me for Mother's Day? And she was like, no, I'm having a baby, Josiah. I was like, yeah, that's the point. And, yep, so we're going to be interviewing one of my coworkers, Ashleigh Bissonnette, today. So hope each and every one of you sticks around for this interview. I was really happy with how it turned out, except for the part where I did not once mention Mother's Day. So buckle up, strap in, and kill all the distractions out, and just keep listening. How are you doing today, Ashleigh?
I'm doing very good. It's a very nice day out, so it's really good for my mental health. How are you doing?
Doing wonderful today. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about motherhood and parenthood.
Mm-hmm.
Was there anything in particular that you wanted to share with the viewers about this?
Not really. I think everybody pretty much knows I'm very excited.
Okay. So, what are you most looking forward to about becoming a mother?
I think a lot of the little moments I'm very excited about, like him getting excited for the first time when Jared comes home, or like when we hear him laugh for the first time. Those very small milestones I think are going to be really big for me.
Okay. And would you also be looking forward to like the big milestones too, or is like just like the little ones that would pop out?
No, for sure I'll be excited about the big ones, but I think the little ones also need to have their little moment and be special.
Okay. Interesting. So, how are you preparing yourself for the arrival of said child?
So some of it is physical, like I'm walking a lot and stretching, trying to keep my body moving. At work, I've been still doing my heavy lifting and whatnot, even though everybody yells at me. And then we're preparing our house too, so we've been doing a lot of house projects. Like we just put a dishwasher in last week. We've been doing lights and ceiling fans and painting and all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of a modge podge of a lot of preparing with like where we're living and then also preparing my body. And then I guess my mind too. I've been mentally getting ready for all the big steps.
Okay. I like the put in the dishwasher part. Those are fun to put in. They can be hard.
Have you done it before?
Yeah, with my dad once or twice.
I don't think Jared enjoyed it that much, but it works.
That's good. The one time we had to do something to it because like the water line was leaking under the dishwasher.
Oh, that's not good.
No. Oh. Okay. So, what's been the most surprising thing you've learned about pregnancy thus far?
I think how fast everything changes. Like, my emotions changed right away. My body changed right away. Like, even my mindset on certain things changed really quickly. So, I think that would probably be, yeah, I would say that's the most surprising thing is just how fast everything moves once you get pregnant.
Interesting. So, what kind of like hopes and dreams do you have for your child's future?
My biggest hope is that he will know Christ and have a good relationship with him. I obviously hope that like he has a good career, that he finds a job that he really loves, he finds a nice girl, has a beautiful family. All those things are obviously hopes I have for him. But I know Christ is the only thing that can fulfill him, and so I really pray that he knows him and pursues Christ.
How are you going to... There's that one verse in the Bible, train up a child in the way he should go. How are you going to think you're going to do that?
Well, a lot of it I know is going to be leading by example. So we were already doing it, but we're even more intentional about being loud about our prayer life and our devotions and those kind of things. Like we can obviously teach our child the Bible. We can take our child to church. We can do all those things, and they're important. Don't get me wrong. But our child, I feel like, will really see us pursuing Christ, and that's going to be very important for him to want to pursue Christ in the future when he needs to develop his own faith.
Okay. And that verse that I referenced was Proverbs 22:6, for those wondering. Okay.
Always good to have the address.
Yep. So, how do you think your life will change once you become a mother? Not just like in the that you now have a kid, but like more than that.
I do know it'll be a really big adjustment. So one thing that kind of made me sad was, like, Jared and I love riding the motorcycle, and any given day we would just jump on the bike and go for a long ride, or just spontaneously on a weekend we'd be like, well, why don't we go for a little ride around the block? So those things I know I'm going to miss. It doesn't mean that I won't be able to, like, go on rides and things like that. I would just have to find a sitter. But that's definitely a change. Is like I can't just go out and do whatever I want. Like, I have a child that I need to make sure is taken care of. But I know there's a lot of, like, exciting things that are going to change. I know, like, I only work the 3 days at market, so I have days where I'm at home by myself, and it would be fun to have, like, a little partner running around with me. I know he's going to bring a lot of joy into our house. So while, like, there's things I'm going to miss, I think there's a lot of things that he's going to bring into our life that are just going to overshadow anything that I would miss. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Are you going on like spontaneous motorcycle rides right now? Because the gas prices just jumped like a dollar.
I have tried to get my husband to let me get on the bike, but he will not let me on the bike 8 months pregnant. I told him it's such a nice day out, we should go, and he says it's not a good idea. So we have not gone for a ride recently.
Okay. Yeah. That really sucks about the gas prices, though.
Oh, I agree. I'm not happy about it.
Yeah, I don't think anybody is really.
Yeah, I'm not sure who would celebrate that at all.
Okay. So, how are you feeling about the transition to motherhood?
Now I'm feeling good about it. Like, I think at the start, I did mourn a lot of things that I would be missing out on, and that could just have been my hormones all out of whack. But I think I'm feeling good about it at this point, which I guess is good because he's going to be here next month, so no stopping him.
Yeah. Okay. Do you think, like, would you say your stress levels during pregnancy, was it like, did it go like up? Was it like fluctuating during the whole time, like wildly, or was it like linear?
I wouldn't say that my stress levels changed at all, but I will say I was more aware of when I was stressed. So if I was stressed, especially when the baby was bigger and I could feel him moving around, like, he would kind of freak out if I was stressed out in any sort of capacity. So I wouldn't say that my stress levels changed from before. I haven't really stressed out about, like, pregnancy or being a parent or anything like that. It's been a pretty chilled situation, but I have been more aware of when I'm stressed or if I'm anxious. I know my body is feeling something.
Okay. That's very interesting. So you think that your baby has a response to when you're stressed? That's what you're saying, kind of?
Yeah, well, they say that the baby feels everything, and that's part of a reason that it's important for a mother not to get super stressed out is that her baby does feel everything and you're in charge of building their nervous system. So trying to keep your stress levels, your anxiety, anything like that to a low, or even your sadness is obviously you can't eliminate it completely, especially because pregnancy causes a lot of hormonal changes. So, I mean, there are certain things that you might not cry about on a normal day, like spilled milk, but pregnant, you might. So you can't eliminate it completely, but your baby does feel everything that you feel.
Okay. Okay.
Have you never
So,
heard that before?
no, never that before. Although, here's an interesting fact about pregnancy. So, if anybody out there watched Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, at the very end, when she is having both twins, she is dying. She started dying before she went into labor. But this is like a scientific fact that if you're dying and you're pregnant, your body will keep you alive longer and it will initiate the labor earlier so that the baby survives, which I think was kind of interesting.
Yeah, that is. That's crazy that the human body can do that.
Yeah. It was a sad ending to a movie, though.
Yes, it was.
Okay. So I got a quote here to get your thoughts on. This is by Lance Conrad, and he wrote this in his book, The Price of Creation. And here he states, I can imagine no heroism greater than motherhood. What are your thoughts on that quote?
I mean, mothers do sacrifice a lot. Just from the start, like sacrificing your whole body and to bring the child into the world. And then, they say that moms don't ever stop worrying about their babies. And I think it's a good quote.
Okay. Yeah. And as I previously said, not on this podcast, but I've previously said this, that we should change the word for labor to super labor.
And I still think that that's a good idea.
Yes. I don't know who's in charge of changing that, though.
Well, if you get in office, why don't you petition it?
Okay. I need some water. What are your thoughts on parenting styles and philosophies?
So I don't know a lot of philosophies or styles of parenting, but from the ones I do know, I think there are certain things that you can take from each one that can be good. But I don't necessarily think that one is like the way that you should go. And I think it depends per child. Every kid is different it doesn't matter that they're in the same family. They all have different personalities, and I think you really need to hone in on how they're able to receive whatever it is you need them to receive, whether it's encouragement or discipline, things like that. So I feel like you kind of got to pick and choose what works for each kid. And I know that's something that's going to be really hard for Jared and I to figure out on each kid, but it's something I do want to be intentional about with our kids, because if one child responds to one thing, it doesn't mean that our other child's going to respond to it. And I don't want to make our other kid feel like crap because he's not responding well just because he's different. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
What kind of parenting style do you like?
So I was just looking up here, and for those keeping score at home, there's 4 types as defined by McCoby and Martin, in their 4 parenting styles theory type thing. And it's authoritative, authoritarian, indulgent, and neglectful.
Oh, I forgot about neglectful. I don't like neglectful.
Yeah, that's the unresponsive, undemanding one. And then authoritarian is unresponsive yet demanding. Responsive is authoritative is responsive and demanding, and indulgent is responsive and undemanding. It's
Where's
interesting.
gentle parenting in it?
Um, their theory just had 4 parenting styles. I
Mm.
think this more has to do with like the attitude toward the child, not necessarily
Yeah.
like the way in which that's portrayed. Because you could be like neglectful, but still like love the child, I guess. But it wouldn't really have a strong bearing on your actions. Not sure.
Mm.
Okay. Here's a good question. If you could have any superpower as a mother, which one would you get?
So I think right now I would tell you to like that I would want to have the superpower to protect my kids from feeling any sort of pain physically or emotionally and just protect them from the world. But if you ask me once he's born, I might tell you that I wish my superpower was to be able to function like a normal human on zero sleep.
Interesting. Wouldn't it if the superpower was functioning as a normal human on 0 hours of sleep, wouldn't that make you not a normal human since you're not getting any sleep?
Well, I have a superpower, so wouldn't that already make me not a normal person?
I guess so. Interesting. If you could give your child a superpower, which one would it be?
Um, I don't know. Maybe I was gonna say be super smart, but he could be super smart without having like some superpower.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know, because all the traits that I would think of like, oh, if he's like a handyman, he can fix anything. But I mean, Jared's like that, so he can learn that from his dad, or being super smart. If he puts in the effort and whatnot, he can be super smart.
Yeah,
I don't
absolutely.
know. What kind of superpower would you want?
If I could choose one for me, I'd probably just want like the superpower of being able to like disappear, so I could just like go
Oh,
anywhere really easily.
that's a good one. You could sneak on to like planes and things like that and just travel the world.
Yeah, but that would be illegal though.
Well, okay. So you only want to do legal stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. My apologies. I thought you maybe wanted to do something crazy and like jump on a plane and go to Europe or something.
No, I really don't want to like go to Europe or a place like that because like people
Oh,
like
really?
say like that's beautiful out there and stuff. Like I just like the area I'm in.
Okay. I do agree with those people. Europe is very beautiful.
Yeah. And by the time this episode comes out, members of my family will have come back from Europe.
I know. I'm so excited for them.
Yes. Um, so how do you think your relationship with your husband will change once you two become parents?
Well, I'll be honest. I don't really know. I he's my best friend and we make everything fun, like all the mundane things in life, like just grocery shopping, stuff like that is always so much more fun when we're together. So I feel like in some ways it will feel just like we're adding another little best friend to the group. But I do know I'm not going to ignore the fact that I know there's going to be hard days, and I know there's going to be days that we have to be more intentional about making time for each other and going on dates and really prioritizing our relationship. I know that's going to happen, but I also feel like we just are laid back and we don't make like big events super common in our daily life or anything like that. So I'm not 100% sure how it's going to change. I know some people say that like the first year is really hard on a relationship with like a newborn and things like that, and I I don't know. Why don't I update you later on that?
Okay, cool. And I forget who said the quote, but somebody said it and it was never stop dating. It would have been helpful if they mentioned the part that once you get married, you shouldn't stop dating, but you should only date who you married.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that'd be a nice clarification there.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay. So what are some of the things you're most nervous about as you approach motherhood?
I feel like I start all of my questions saying, that's probably not super professional. I'm nervous about, I'm very excited, but I am nervous about having a full responsibility over a child. I have a lot of nieces and nephews, and I've babysat hundreds of times. I know how to take care of children. That's not the part that worries me. It's just that I will have the full responsibility of this little human, and I have to keep him alive and healthy and happy. So that's a little intimidating. I do just say my husband is fantastic, and it's going to sound like the bare minimum, but I do not have to worry about him helping me parent or anything like that. But there's a lot of men out there that do put all the parenting on mom, and I'm very blessed that I don't have that concern, and I never would have that concern. But I would say just the intimidating part of, like, I have to take care of this child. He is my responsibility, and I don't know, that's probably what I'm most nervous about. Most of the stuff, it's like labor's scary, but it'll be fine. Like, bringing him home, we'll figure it out, things like that. But just I have full responsibility of this child.
Yeah. And in New Jersey, at least, I'm just looking at this up. Title 9, Section 6 to 1 and 9 6 to 6 3 talks about, what is it? Like neglect of children and stuff like that. And it looks like there are some pretty severe punishments here. Yeah. So
Good, there should be.
Yeah. Yeah, so
if you're going to have a kid, you need to be able to take care of that kid.
Yeah, it's a big responsibility.
Mm-hmm. That's why we shouldn't have kids just to have kids. You should be in a loving married relationship.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. It says here, failure to do or permit to be done any act necessary for the child's physical or moral well-being. Neglect also means the continued inappropriate placement of a child in an institution as defined in Section 1 of PL 1974. Interesting. Yeah. Cool. So what's the one thing you're most excited to do with your baby? That can be anything like yoga, reading, singing, stuff like that.
I'm so excited to take him to places like the zoo and the aquarium. It's so much fun watching kids experience life, and when they get to see, like, these animals they don't see all the time, their eyes just light up. We were just at the aquarium a couple weeks ago with a couple friends, and when we were sitting in one of the rooms, a bunch of kids were coming in, like little babies, and it could have been their first time at the aquarium, and they were just giggling and in awe of, like, seeing the sea turtles and things like that. So I'm so excited to do things like that with him.
Okay. What animals at the zoo would you in particular want to show him?
Well, I'm trying to think. What do we have at the Philly Zoo? We have a lot of monkeys and apes, right?
Well, I haven't been there in probably 8 years.
Yeah, I haven't been there in a while either. I feel like the giraffes would be cool too. I think the Philly Zoo has giraffes.
Yeah, I think a while ago one of theirs died.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then they got a new one.
Oh, I didn't know about that. I don't keep up with the Philly Zoo, I guess.
Yeah,
Didn't they have a polar bear too?
Yeah, they have a couple polar bears, I believe. Let's see. I could probably look this up on their website.
Yeah, they probably would have it up there. But I know they have orangutans, and those are always fun to see because they're always doing something. So maybe the orangutans would be fun for him.
They got African lion, a mer tiger, Ankle cattle, Caribbean flamingo. I used to really like flamingos. Black and white
Really?
colobus, cheetah, Galapagos tortoise. The Galapagos tortoise, those can live like hundreds of years. So like if you
Yeah.
got one of those as a pet, it would outlive you, probably.
Yeah. I see people on TikTok with them as pets, and some of them, it's like their grandparents that it got passed down to them.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Ooh, they got a rhinoceros and a snow leopard.
Oh, that's right. They do.
Interesting. Hmm. That's a lot of good animals there. Okay, so what's the best piece of advice you've received so far about pregnancy or parenthood?
Heather from work told me to educate myself on everything. And I think that's the best piece of advice that I was given. And I really latched on to that. And I've been reading a lot of books, and I've been getting a lot of advice from different moms. And, some of the scary stuff you would think would freak me out and not want any sort of part of it. And maybe for some people it would freak them out and it would be too much. But really getting the knowledge of what each stage of pregnancy and labor and raising children looks like has been so helpful and has given me some kind of confidence. I feel like that I can handle this. Obviously, I know the Lord has given us this child, and he's not just going to give me a child to give me a child. I understand that, but really honing in on giving myself as much knowledge as I possibly can has been very helpful, and I think it's a really good advice to give to any new mom.
What's the most interesting thing you've learned so far?
Trying to think. I've learned a lot of crazy things that I probably don't want to repeat, but I don't know. It's all really crazy.
Hmm.
I think some of it I knew for a while too, so maybe it's not as crazy now because it's just knowledge that I've had. I don't know. Did you learn any crazy things about pregnancy or
Well,
children or anything?
I was just recently listening to a episode of Diary of a CEO with Stephen Bartlett, and he interviewed Jesse Inchasupsa or something like that. I'm not able to pronounce her last name. But as she was talking about how what you eat while you're pregnant affects how your baby develops. She was saying that basically the baby has the genes from both parents. But, the mother has a lot of ability to influence the baby's rest of the life with what she eats during those 9 months. And she published a book. Let me see if I can get the title of this. It was something about 9 months. I'm gonna look her up real quick because I was meaning to look up that book. So let's see. 9 months that count forever. Yeah, it's apparently a really good book about what you eat during pregnancy, which sounded really interesting to me. Yeah.
That actually reminds me of something crazy I did learn. So you said that obviously the kid has both DNAs, which is true. But did you know that the father's DNA is what creates the placenta?
Really?
Yeah. So there's a lot of different things that the father's DNA can affect within pregnancy, and some of it's like preeclampsia, GD. There's morning sickness is affected by the father's DNA. So that was probably a crazy thing that I can repeat that I learned about pregnancy.
Interesting.
Yeah, right?
So when the scientists talk about taking two reproductive cells in a lab and doing whatever with those cells. They would need like a cell from a guy and a cell from a girl. They wouldn't just need two random reproductive cells to make a baby if they wanted to.
I heard a rumor that apparently you can create life with an egg and also a woman's bone marrow. So I would assume you would need both a male and female, but I don't know, they're doing crazy things in science, so that's something I would have to look more into.
Yes, and okay, so what you're referencing is a popular discovery story from 2007, which they restate here in Discovery Magazine on August 10th of 2020. And it says in 2007, a group of researchers reporting a startling discovery. They had created sperm-like cells out of stem cells taken from the bone marrow of human men. 2 years later, however, the study was retracted due to charges of plagiarism. So that's interesting.
So they weren't being fully honest here.
Well, I guess they plagiarized somebody else.
Yeah. Sure. So it wasn't their own work. They weren't being honest.
Oh, I just found out the technical name for the sperm and the egg. It's gametes. Human gametes. Interesting. Okay, so what do you hope to pass on to your child in terms of values and life lessons?
Probably not to be quick to judge someone. You don't know everybody's past. You don't necessarily know their heart right off the bat. I think judgment can be a really slippery slope. To be kind and to show Jesus, not just talk about him. We can talk about Jesus all day, but back to when I was talking about showing our child what it means to pursue Christ, it's very important that we show everybody Jesus, not just, oh, yeah, I love Jesus. Because there's a lot of people out there that say they know Christ, and you don't really know if they're pursuing Christ. Their fruits might not look like they are. So don't just talk about Jesus, also show Jesus.
Yeah, and on that point of not being too quick to judge, in another Diary of a CEO episode, he interviewed a security expert, Gavin DeBecker, and Mr. Becker was telling a story of how he walked into a meeting once, and there was a woman there who was crying, like, very much, and people around her were comforting her, and the first thought that was in his head was, why'd she come to this meeting if she's just going to be crying here? And so meeting starts, and then she speaks up, and she says, as many of you may know, my husband killed my son and himself the other day. And yeah, that was the first thing that she said. So yeah, it's important not to be too quick to judge. Yeah.
Yeah.
But on that second note about not just saying Jesus, showing Jesus too, I think that's like where the phrase "there's no love like Christian hate" came from. Whereas like you have to be kind of like living it out, not just, saying that you do.
Right. Right.
Because like throughout history, if you look, Christians have like done stuff in the name of Jesus that like makes zero sense, and like they just like did bad stuff to other people. It's like the Crusades were like, it was all about like wanting to take Jerusalem back for Jesus. Like that was what they were saying, but it was really just like a nonsense war, really, just between like European states and then Muslim states. It was just they were trying to justify their reasoning for the war by appealing to religion and such.
Yeah, people use religion out of context more than they should, especially today.
Yeah. How do you think becoming a mother will help you grow as a person?
So I can get pretty stressed out about little things and like stupid things I don't need to be overwhelmed by, and I've noticed that when I'm with my nieces or nephews, those little things don't matter. Things just roll off my back a lot faster. And so I think it's going to help me be a little bit more laid back in a way. I mean, sure, yeah, I'll be worried about my child getting hurt and things like that. But those little things I don't think will matter as much to me. And I'll be able to take a step back and be like, is this really a big deal? Is this really going to matter in 5 minutes?
Yeah, yeah. Interesting. I was reading Pride and Prejudice the other day. Did you know by the end of Pride and Prejudice, Charlotte Lucas in the book is pregnant?
I did not. I've never read the book.
You should read the book. It's a really good read.
Okay, I'll jot that down.
Okay. And Joanne Ryan says, motherhood is about raising and celebrating the children you have, not the child you thought you would have. And she said
Oh,
that in The Water Giver, the story of a mother, a son, and their second chance.
that's a good quote.
Yeah. Let's see.
I feel
Interesting.
like a lot of parents put too much pressure on their kid because they wanted them to be a certain way and they're not that.
Yeah. I feel like they can do that sometimes. I think it's like well intentioned a lot of times though. They just get like
Well,
they
yeah, I
see like a
think
good thing and they're just misguided by it.
right. I don't think every parent that does that is being malicious, but sometimes it's easy to get wrapped up in what you think your child should be and not letting them be who they are.
Mm.
I mean, in certain things we got to work on, but I think generalized, like maybe they don't want to play like football or something. That's a pretty stereotypical thing. There's a lot of people that want their kid to be like in the NFL, but they don't want to do that and they'd rather work like in an office job or something like that. You can't really keep pushing them to do something they don't want to do.
Yeah. And I'm looking up something here, and it says here 11% of sports parents believe their child can go pro, but 0.16% will get drafted into Major League Baseball, 0.0096 will get picked by an NBA team,
Jeez.
0.0077 will be chosen by a WNBA team, and 0.025 will get picked by an NFL team, according to this study in Project Play, which is owned by the Aspen Institute.
I didn't realize the numbers were so low like that.
Yeah, I guess that's why they're pro though. So
Well, yeah. Good point.
yeah, is like if I could get like onto a pro basketball or like a pro football team, that wouldn't be like that great for the league. But here we have a quote by Tina Fey where she says, being a mom has made me so tired and so happy. Do you think you'll be very tired during the motherhood phase of your life? Because I remember your previous answer to the question of what superpower you said to be able
Yeah.
to work on no sleep.
I think I'm going to be very tired. I'm very tired now, just in my third trimester. I was very tired in my first trimester. I've been told that pregnancy tired is not the same as like newborn tired. Pregnancy tired is way worse, allegedly. I'll let you know in the future if that's true or not. But I do think I'm going to be very tired. But you have to think, like, the baby eats every 2 hours for, I don't know how long in the beginning. I know it's a good chunk of time. So I'm going to have to get up every 2 hours throughout the night to feed him. And kids have a lot of energy. So they can run all day long. And I'm sure I won't be able to keep up. So I'll be very tired. But I do agree. I think I'll be very happy too.
Interesting. Okay. Do you think that when raising your child, do you think you'll be like predisposed to pass on, like, the biases you have in life?
I do think some things will, yeah. Um, I try to be neutral on things. Like my dad is a great example. He will have an opinion on something, but he also leaves room for us kids to develop our own opinion. But we know his opinion. So I feel like finding some kind of middle ground. I do want my kids to be able to think for themselves, and like I want them to have their personalities. I don't want them to just think what I think just because I think it. Obviously, I want them to agree with me on my values and things like that, but I also don't want them just to be like these little robots, you know? So I think a lot of my biases will be passed down, but I'm going to try my darnest to be like my dad, I guess, and allow my children to develop their own thoughts.
Interesting. Okay. What is the most valuable lesson your mother taught you?
So my mom wasn't an advice person for me growing up. That was always my dad. But my mom did show us through her actions what it meant to have a servant's heart. And I think that's something that I really value through her. Sometimes she does some crazy things, but you always know that she has the best intentions, and she just has that gift from the Lord to have the servant's heart. And I think that's very beautiful and something that I would say would be the most valuable thing she's taught me.
Interesting. What do you think is the most valuable lesson you'll teach your child?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. That's a tough question. You didn't ask this in the pre-questions.
I gotta throw surprise questions.
I know you're
Okay,
throwing me off
interesting.
now. I thought I knew everything that was going to be asked.
But here's a article in Editorialage, which I don't know where this magazine's from, but it's October 3rd, 2024, and it's talking about the 15 life lessons you should teach your child. And it has here resilience, empathy, responsibility, honesty, kindness, perseverance, gratitude, self-respect, curiosity, adaptability, responsibility, financial literacy, which I believe that one's very important, healthy communication, cultural awareness, and time management.
Okay. So some of them that I do think those are all great things to pass down to your kids, but honesty, self-respect. There was another one you said that I'm blanking on now, but yeah,
Financial
those are very.
literacy?
No, that's a good one though. That I should teach them that. I'm pretty good when it comes to finances, where Jared sees something shiny and is like, "Can we get it?" So hopefully they get my ability to save money and not their father's. Although he's getting better. I'll throw him under the bus, but let me also clarify that he is good about, like, not just buying whatever he wants. But honesty is very important. Oh, communication, that's what it was. Communication. Honesty and communication, I think, can take you very far. But honesty can also be a downfall. Sometimes you don't have to speak all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think, for me at least, I feel like I'm either gonna fail when it comes to financial literacy, like teaching children, or excel greatly. Just because of, like, the fact that since I'm good with money, I might just, like, start, like, be, like, predisposed to, like, just help them out with all that stuff. So, like, I'm doing all the work so they're not learning anything. Or I'll either be, like, super involved teaching them stuff where, like, they'll be super good with it. I feel like I'm either going to fall on one of those two extremes when that happens.
So you're going to have kids to teach financial literacy to?
Yeah, it's kind of hard not to if you, like, get married and stuff.
Oh, the podcast heard it. You're getting married and having kids one day.
Let me look this up real quick. I saw this article the other day. It was really interesting.
I feel like you find a lot of interesting articles.
Yeah. Let's see. Not finding it. Well, it's because I, like, subscribe to, like, scientific magazines and stuff.
See, I don't do that. Maybe I should get into that.
Okay. I might have found it. Okay, here we go. A single human fertile male produces enough sperm in 2 weeks to impregnate every single fertile woman on the planet. And
you did tell me this.
It says here, it might sound like a lot, but men typically produce 1,500 sperm per second. And it says this in the fact base. And this was published by Morgan Wallace on February 2nd of 2024.
You told me the first half before. You didn't tell me the second half. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Jeez Louise, that could be a lot of kids.
Yeah. Well, I guess it wouldn't be possible for, like, they produce enough to impregnate all the fertile women in 2 weeks, but it technically wouldn't be possible because of the refractory period in men. Yeah. Oh, and I guess I should define that. And so the refractory period is the time after which engaged in intimacy a male can't engage in that after. Again, it's like it can be varies depending on, like, the age, but, like, in adolescence it can be a minutes, but, like, in older men it can be hours, up to even, like, a day or so. Yeah.
The more you know.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So, let's see. I got something else cool here. Okay, so Jessica Lange says the natural state of motherhood is unselfishness. What do you think about that?
It's unselfishness, you said?
Yes.
Yeah, I think motherhood is a very selfless thing. And I think fatherhood is too. I don't think it just pertains to mom. I think it's both parents. As long as you do it right, I think there's still selfish parents out there that just want to do what they want to do, but the core of being a parent is very selfless.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think we gotta, like, as a society, help parents more, because I see, like some parents, and, like, I see them parenting their children. I was like, those people should not, like, be parenting. Which, I think, like, we need to, like, make it, like, give parents more support, I think.
Yeah, I don't think we value families enough anymore.
Yeah, especially, like, the nuclear family and stuff. Like, that's really being, like, fractured. And for those at home who don't know what a nuclear family is, it's just, like, a mom, a dad, then there's, like, kids. It has nothing to do with bombs or anything. Although that would be, like, really cool. Like, doesn't that sound like a superhero family, like the nuclear family?
It does. When I first heard it, it did make me a little curious, because I was like, what the heck could this possibly be?
Yeah, it's like the Incredibles are in a new movie with the nuclear family.
Right, exactly. It does sound like it should be a part of a movie.
Yeah. And, And I was listening to a podcast, which also happened to be Diary of a CEO. I listened to that, like, a whole lot. Um, but he was interviewing a guy, I forgot what it was about. I think it was about monogamy. And he was saying the guy tried to define the nuclear family, but he got it wrong. Like, it was like a subtle wrong. Like, it was like an almost right definition. He was basically like, you have two parents and children, but like, that's obviously not right because there's like couples now who are of like the same gender or whatever,
Mhm.
and like they technically wouldn't be a nuclear family. And let me see here.
Well,
And for those who don't know, monogamy is having the same partner for life. And we can see that in, I believe, seahorses mate for life. Which, seahorses are really cool because they're the only animal who can change their gender. Which I find interesting.
oh, really?
Yeah. And then worms can reproduce asexually. Those are like the two most
Yeah.
interesting animals right there.
Apparently snails can too. We got a fish tank and we were going to get snails, and Karis told me that snails can just reproduce by themselves.
Yikes.
Yeah.
So like if you have a snail problem, you really have to get every single one.
I guess, yeah.
It's interesting. How do you think motherhood's gonna affect your confidence?
In what, like, just in general?
Yeah, just in general.
Well, if you would have asked me at the start of my pregnancy, I would have told you that I think it would boost it. But now that I'm getting towards the end, I was actually just talking about this today. Some of, like, just going on little outings and things like that, the idea of it does overwhelm me a little bit. So I wonder if it's going to break my confidence for a time, and then I'll slowly build it back up.
Yeah, and I believe Kamala Harris said this. He was like, I don't remember the exact quote, but it was like, they break you so, and then build you back up again. Like, that was the idea. She was talking about debate camp during her term of running for president. And she said that in her book, 107 Days, I think it is. Yeah. It's a very interesting quote there.
Yeah.
I think, like, sometimes, like, we need, like, our confidence a little shaken so that we can rely on, like, God and Jesus, like, a little more. Like, I think you can
Amen.
put stuff in our lives that do that, so that we do
Yeah.
end up relying on Him more. It's really,
I agree.
really, really cool. And, when you do have a child, that's going to change, like, a lot of stuff in your life. But what do you think is, like, one thing that's not going to change? Because as they said in Frozen 2, some things never change.
Sorry, you kind of cut out towards the end.
As they said in Frozen 2, some things never change.
I'm so glad you repeated that because I would have been bummed if I missed that quote. I don't think my want and love to travel will change. I already have a big desire to travel with our kids and show them the world. So that's, yeah, I don't think that will ever change.
You know, if you got Jared to join the military, he could travel all over the world.
Oh, I have thought about that, but his scoliosis disqualifies him.
Scoliosis disqualifies you?
Yeah.
Really? That's interesting.
Well, I don't know if it's like the severity of it depends, but his is bad enough that he's disqualified.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he also just didn't want to ever be in the military, so I'm not going to make him do something he hates.
Okay. Yeah. You know, I think in Israel, if you go over to Israel, they have required military service for, like, once you turn 18, I think it's, like, you serve for, like, 2 years. I think we should do something like that in the United States where, like, let's say like 1 year when you're 18 to 19, you have mandatory service. Because like men are ready when they turn 18, they have to sign up for the military draft, and like you already have to do that. So you might as well like do like maybe like 6 months or something. So that, like at least you get like a sense of duty to your country. Because I think some people just like don't like who live here don't have like respect the country a lot. I think we really need to
I
fix that.
do agree. I think a lot of people, it's almost like a trend to hate America.
Yes. Yeah. It's not a good trend either, I wouldn't think.
No.
Yeah.
No, a lot of angry people just to be angry. And don't get me wrong, we're not perfect. Definitely not perfect. There are some things that frustrate me about our country, but just to hate it because you can is kind of silly to me.
Yeah, and I think it also has like a little bit to do about like shoving it in the last generation's face, because like the generation before 1970s very much respected this country and like the institutes of this country, and then you had the hippies in the 1970s and 80s, like very rebellious against like the previous generation's ideals and like against the country. And then after that you had like the next generation like respected the nation again, and then the generation after that is like going into like complete nonsense and a bunch of stuff that the previous generation really wouldn't have done. I think it's like a cycle of one generation does something because the last generation didn't do it, so they want to be contrary to that generation, and then it just keeps
Right.
continuing on.
It's a vicious cycle.
Yep. Oh, here's a good quote by Emily Watts. Burnt toast is actually fairly symbolic of motherhood. If you are the one who burned the toast, you scrape it off and eat it yourself. If they burned it, you eat it because they burned it especially for you. I don't get that quote.
I don't know what they're like. I understand it, but
That's
yeah.
interesting. I feel like there's something better you can compare it to. I have the verse of the day here from Proverbs 31:28, and this is from the NKJV Bible, because I'm a Baptist, and it says here, her children rise up and call her blessed, her husband also, and he praises her. I believe that's that's like that chapter about like the ideal woman in the Bible, I think. Right? Okay. I guess that's Proverbs chapter 31 then. What are your thoughts on that verse?
It's a good verse. I like it. I don't know. When it comes to like verses and things like that, I feel like I'm not always the best with my words on like deep dive. Like I will read something and then I'll go to talk to Jared about it, and he's like, I'm glad you got something out of it, but I'm not really understanding what you're getting out of it. So I guess I'm not the best when it comes to speech.
Okay. So you liken yourself to Moses then in the Bible? Okay. Yeah, no, for those who don't know, Moses in the Bible was telling God that he didn't speak well. So God had Aaron speak for Moses instead. Very
And listen, the
interesting.
Holy Spirit does do that. There are plenty of times where you just have to take a step back and you're like, I don't even remember what I said. The Holy Spirit just took over.
Yeah, exactly. So our time has to wrap up eventually. Was there anything in closing you wanted to impart on the audience? Uh-oh. And the call's gone. That's cool. Let's try this again. Let's recall her. Okay. There we go. Do-do-do-do. Do-do. Do, do, do.
I was wondering where you went.
I turned on my Bluetooth earbuds by accident, and so that messed up the Bluetooth of my phone, so it knocked your call offline. Yeah. So sorry about that there. So, yes, back to like the previous question. Was there any closing thoughts you wanted to add?
Not necessarily on the topic, but I think this was a lot of fun. You did really good with your questions, and I was honored to be on your podcast.
Oh, no problem. Yep. Oh, I had one more question.
Sure.
How do you think having a child is going to change Jared?
Oh, it's going to be the most fun thing ever. He is so excited to be a dad, and he'll tell me all the time that he just can't wait till he's here. And if he sees a baby, he'll be like, oh, we're going to have one of those. And sometimes he'll just like look at me and be like, I just want to hold our son. Or he'll get a little jealous that like he can't, and I am obviously carrying our child right now. So I think it's going to be so much fun just seeing him really set into his role of dad.
Interesting. Yeah. Are you going to tell your children the popular myth about the stork bringing babies?
I don't know. Maybe if I panic enough.
Okay.
Depends on when they ask me about all that jazz, and then we'll see how I react.
I remember reading a funny story. There was a first-time preschooler goes off to preschool, and I lost the call again. This is fun. Fun. I did it again.
Hung up again.
My bad.
You're all good.
Sorry. Yeah, so there was a story about a preschooler, goes off to preschool for the first time, comes back home, runs panic to her mother, and goes, Mother, I need to know how adults make babies, so I don't accidentally do it, because all the other children are annoying. I thought that was a great story there.
Oh.
I laughed when I read it.
All right.
Yeah. So, our time today has come to a close. And I'll see
thanks
you
for having me.
tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow.
I'm glad that you were able to come on. And bye.
Bye.